back it up, there's no chance.
That looked like the cutter, and that is filthy. Wow. Jackson Jobe just obliterated the Twins.
Four-seam cutter, slider change. We'll go four-seam first. So I go horseshoe on the right side, and I try to split the baseball with my middle finger. And, I mean, the thought behind that is that middle finger is my longest finger, and the ball is going to come off my middle finger last. So I'm trying to get as much ride and induced vert as possible.
Do you know your numbers on that pitch as far as induced vert and RPMs?
Average would be around 18 and RPMs around 500. Or not 500, 2,500.
It's 500. You got like a knuckleball fastball.
I'm more looking at yeah, got the knuckleball heater. But yeah, I'm more so looking at the vert than anything. Like I don't know how much RPMs really matter when it comes to fastball or any pitch. I don't know. It's kind of a controversial topic. I don't know enough about it to get into it super deeply. But yeah, just look at the induced vert for the most part. Try to keep it 18 or above. And then, yeah, just rip at the top of the zone with 2 strikes, steal some at the bottom early.
What's the velo on your best bolt?
No, it was from the other day for sure. 102 is that's the hardest I've been. Trying to think. Yeah, we'll see. My averages go up each year, so we'll see what it is this next year. Last year, I think my average was 96.5. I'd like to think we can up that a little bit this year.
Can you maintain that velo?
In everyone else's eyes, like, no. Like, I'm not going to go out there and throw 102 every single outing because, one, I think that'd be stupid, and two, like, it's not realistic. But yeah, like I see myself being able to reach back for triple digits whenever I need it, but we'll have to see. But yeah, and then we got we'll go slider here. I kind of grip it like a lot of guys would grip their 2-seam. Nothing crazy, just right in between, and thumb here right in the middle between these laces, and then a little space in between the ball. And this is the grip that I've been throwing since I was 15 when I first started to throw. I call it a curveball at the time, and I was playing quarterback in high school, and my dad told me to throw like a football, so that's kind of how it started out, just throwing it like a football. And then as time went on, I just started – the biggest cue for me after that was just throw it hard, like throw it with the same hand speed as I do my fastball, and started doing that, started ripping it, and, yeah, it's kind of now what it is today. That's like the one pitch that I haven't really like had to touch at all.
What's your mentality when throwing it? How do you feel like it comes out of your hand? Like, what is the key to throwing a 3,300 RPM slider is what I want to know.
I think the key is like kind of like I said, like just ripping it, like throwing it as hard as I can, almost harder than my fastball. Like I feel like I get in trouble when I throw the get me over slider early in the count. Like for me, like I want to be ripping it every single time, because one, it's going to look like you're throwing a heater, and two, you're going to get tighter spin, it's going to move more, the RPMs are going to be higher. Like everything about the pitch across the board is going to be better if you're ripping it at 100%.
And how do you feel like it comes off your hand? Like you've seen it on edge and stuff, right? So you kind of know how it comes off.
Yeah, I want to say I try to keep my index finger out of it, so I just comes here, spins sideways with a little bit of downward tilt. Like I mentioned, gets a little bit of depth. We'll go cutter here. And this is like, so I have my 4-seam grip here. Try to put that better. So for the cutter, I just offset it a little bit, kind of grab the seam here, and then tuck the thumb a little bit. I think I forgot to mention on the 4-seam too that I'm tucking the thumb a tad, try to keep my wrist straight. So yeah, this one here, I'm kind of just letting the grip do most of the work, throwing it pretty much just like a fastball. But I think naturally with my middle finger being up here on this seam, like I'm gonna get around the baseball a little bit. And so yeah, like I'm kind of the same mindset with this pitch as I am the slider. Like the harder I throw it, the better. So if I can keep it in that 92 to 95 range, and obviously the harder is better. If I can throw it harder, then great. But yeah, for me that's just for most of my pitches, like simple, like just rip it. Like take the grip. I've done enough work with the grip and the metrics, and when I go in the game, it's just pick your sight and rip through there.
When you say pick your sight, what are you looking at? Like where are you trying to aim it? Are you going down the middle, or are you trying to picture something else when you're throwing?
Yeah, for the cutter, I'm aiming literally right down the middle in hopes that it's gonna start middle and then break the 4 inches or whatever it does glove side and end up on the outer third. And then like for the slider, I'll have to move my sights a little bit more arm side when I'm trying to throw it for a strike. And then I'll aim like the catcher's belt for 2 strikes. And then the heater is a little different. Like I kind of pick and choose when I'm trying to be like precise with my fastball. Like if it's a day where I notice guys are under it by 2 feet and I'm blowing guys' doors off, like I'm not nitpicking. I'm just kind of going at them. Then if I feel like they're putting some good hacks on it, I'm going down in glove side. I'm going down in glove side to up and arm side, kind of trying to work the zone diagonally, and things like that, going to different sequences. But yeah, for the most part, kind of like I mentioned, and I think a lot of teams are doing it now to where like we have all this stuff for you to develop the stuff and the pitch shapes, and we're going to help you do that. And then when you get into the game, like you're ripping, you're looking right down the middle and you're ripping. And they say that, 8 out of 10 times you're not going to throw it where you intend to throw it. I'd like to think that I could do a little bit better job than that, but that's what like the new analytics and stuff are telling guys. So that's definitely a simple approach to it. But like in my eyes, if I want to be a big league starter for 10 plus years, I don't think that I'm going to be able to be an ace with throwing things down the middle. So I would like to think I'm working a little bit differently. But like I mentioned before, like there's days where you can just throw your stuff down the middle and guys are going to miss it. And when that's happened, you don't want to mess around and try to get too cute for no reason.
It's funny. The first person I heard tell me that they aimed down the middle, and the whole team did, was Tyler Glasnow on the Rays. He said Rays philosophy is get guys with nasty stuff, set up down the middle. You're not going to be able to throw it right down the middle. Even if you do, your stuff's nasty, and it's just going to work. And I thought that is the new way. And I think everybody kind of borrowed that mentality because the Rays have been able to develop so many, exciting pitchers.
Yeah, no, I've heard that from the Rays. And I think I've heard Pete Fairbanks say that as well. Same thing. And that's what like saved him in a way because he was walking guys or whatever. And he's got great stuff, obviously. So it's much more simple to just set down the middle and rip.
And he's a bit of a psychopath too. So,
is he a different guy?
yeah, definitely. Funny. He's definitely different. Great stuff, man. He's got absolutely great stuff.
Yeah, but I think too, that's one of those things that just is dependent on the guy. Like I could tell you for a fact that Garrett Cole is not a guy that goes out there and just throws it down the middle. Like if you watch him, his catcher's setting up in, he's setting up out, and he's dotting that ass with 97, and he's one of the better pitchers ever. So it's like, just kind of depends on what kind of guy you are, I guess. And I'm still trying to figure that out.
Well, help me figure out this changeup thing you got, because I was watching it going, all right, he's hitting 102. And then you break off 86-mile-an-hour changeup, 16-mile-an-hour difference between your heater and your changeup.
The changeup's a little bit of a weird one. It started off, I think this is what they call the Fosh grip. So this is what I threw in high school and threw for my first year of pro ball. And I liked it. It was a good pitch for sure, but then I wanted to get some more arm side movement to it. So I went from here to climbing up the seam here to where my index finger is kind of hugging this seam here. And like it looks like a splitter. Like I definitely grip it like a split. But like when I'm throwing it, I'm not a guy that's like splitting the ball and ripping here. Like I'm strictly like using this seam here, and then I'm pronating, trying to keep my wrists still as well, and then I'm pronating like this. And even like when I'm in catch play, the biggest thing I'm looking at is like I want straight side spin on the baseball. So that's the biggest thing for me. And this is a different pitch than my other 3. Like this is such more of a feel pitch, and if I don't throw this every day in catch play, then it is gonna feel super wonky when I get into the game. Like the changeup's a weird one, and it took me a while to get it to where I want it to be, but I think it's become one of my best pitches for sure.
The velo difference to me really jumped out at me. Is that something that's always been there? Like, should we be expecting like a 15 mile an hour, 16 mile an hour difference between those two?
Yeah, I've always kind of thrown it slower, and like I've never understood either why like people get wowed at like a guy throwing a 90 mile an hour changeup. Like it's like the whole goal of a changeup. Everyone wants to talk about the depth and the arm side movement, but no one wants to talk about the difference like here, whatever you want to call that, like mixing like speed difference. And I've thrown changeups that are move as straight as an arrow, but it's 10 to 15 mile an hour is different on my fastball, and guys swing 3 feet over it. So like that's one of those things. It's like it's great to fall in love with the movement, and it's nasty and whatever, but like it can be so simple, like with the changeup.
I totally agree with you, and I get that every once in a while. Like I'll post someone's changeup online, and on X or whatever, and they'll say, well, that was down the middle. That's a crappy pitch. You can't live there, or it can't be elevated. Well, if you aren't tipping it and you're throwing it just like your heater, if hitters can't make that adjustment, I don't care where it goes. Like you can throw it right down the middle and they're going to miss because they're swinging early.
100%.